Good afternoon. It's Michael Lampkin from Senior Home Companions. And today I have my good friend, Mindy Winnie from Socoa. She's their dementia support specialist. And we have some questions for you today, Mindy. But before we get into that, would you mind sharing a little bit about your background and your role at Socoa?
Absolutely. Well, I've played various counseling and support roles over, since graduating college. But I've been with Socoa now for the last 5 years. And at Socoa, I've been a phone options counselor working in our Aging and Disability Resource Center. I have also done one-on-one caregiver support as a caregiver options counseling at the agency. My most recent role before becoming the dementia education specialist, I was a community programs coordinator. And so in that role, that's when I really started to focus my efforts and my energy into the Dementia Friends Indiana initiative. And just kind of as a side note, I have some personal experience with Alzheimer's disease and other related dementias as well, in addition to working with a number of families who are dealing with this, but my own family dealt with this. I was, probably a freshman in high school when my grandmother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, and she passed away 3 months after I graduated from college. So this is certainly a cause that is near and dear to my heart. It is an absolute honor that I get to share my experiences with the community and then also hear those experiences in return, and just to kind of open this dialogue about, again, what we've been through. So,
well, that's amazing, and you know, we have at Senior Home Companions, we help hundreds of families with personal care, with transportation and other services, but we're always looking for additional resources to share with them, and hundreds of those families are dealing with dementia. So we're so excited about the Dementia Friends initiative. Dementia Friends, do you mind elaborating what it is and where it started?
Absolutely. So Dementia Friends is a global movement that really aims to transform the way we talk, we think, we act towards people living with dementia. So really the goal of this is through education and awareness, again, to really kind of dispel what dementia's not, shine a light on what it is, really help folks understand how to support families going through this. But I think the greatest goal is to break down the stigma of dementia. So just like I talked about, creating a safe space where we can start talking about this condition. So what's really neat is this was developed by the Alzheimer's Society over in the United Kingdom and has since grown into 56 different countries. So this is not something that we're doing over here in the United States alone. Again, this is a global epidemic, so it is inspiring to me that we have a global solution in the sense of just raising awareness and getting people to talk about the condition. So specifically here in the United States, there are 25 different states and territories that have since adopted the initiative and are delivering information sessions to their community. Indiana was actually the 10th state to adopt the initiative.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very cool, very exciting, and I'm just so proud to be at the forefront of a movement, again, that is changing the way we perceive this condition and support these families. So, yeah.
Well, we have over 600 caregivers, like I said, hundreds of families that we support, and a lot of them are dealing with dementia. And you've given all of your experience, both personal and professional. What do you feel the biggest recommendation to those families we could make in terms of what would have the biggest impact as they deal with dementia?
Absolutely. This may sound a little biased, but I certainly think starting with becoming a dementia friend. I think for so many families, they're so overwhelmed by the process. They receive the diagnosis, they're trying to sift through the resources and who do I turn to, where do I go? And so I think the Dementia Friends session, it's 1 hour, and it really touches on what is dementia, what are the most relevant types of dementia, talking a little bit about the early signs and symptoms. So I think that equips families to be able to differentiate what normal or natural aging is versus what might be something more serious, like some form of dementia. We talk about communication tactics, and again, talking about those local resources that can help support these families. So again, I may be a little biased in saying that, but I think that families truly can gain a lot of information in a 1 hour span of time. Now, in addition to that, I think the Alzheimer's Association is a phenomenal resource. I think their most valuable resource truly is their 24/7 helpline for families. So I think that is something that I try to share with all dementia friends. And once you become dementia friends, I tell everybody, if you know families dealing with this, make sure they have that 24/7 helpline. So that is a phenomenal resource in addition to their website. It lists all their support groups, all their educational programming. So they've got a lot going on. And I want to stress that too. I think a lot of people see that word Alzheimer's and they think, well, gosh, my loved one hasn't received a formal diagnosis of Alzheimer's. So they don't recognize that that is a resource that they can turn to. So we do talk a lot about that in the Dementia Friends session. And then I would also say memory cafes. This is something that's relatively new to the state of Indiana. We have a few of them here. But in states like Wisconsin, Massachusetts, they have over 100 memory cafes across the state. So what memory cafes are, they're meant to be safe, welcoming social gatherings that are really inclusive for people living with dementia, all forms of dementia, and then their caregiver. So, for example, we have partnered with Conner Prairie, a local historic museum in Fishers, Indiana. And then we've also partnered with the University of Indianapolis on the south side of the city to create these memory cafes. And so some of the activities that we've done, we've had folks come and at the museum, they've taken artifacts from the museum and just kind of that healthy reminiscing. So again, these activities are really tailored to be stimulating for the person with dementia. But it's also an opportunity if they just want to come, get out of the home and meet others that are in similar situations, it gives them that opportunity too. So there's not a lot of programming that's developed for both the caregiver and the person living with dementia, and I think these memory cafes are a really great way for people to still connect and engage in their communities in a safe and inclusive way.
Well, that's awesome. And having been through a Dementia Friends session, I know you guys have a big call to action at the end,
Yeah.
but so for maybe viewers who've already been through a Dementia Friends session, or other people who are maybe, looking for that next step, how are some other ways that viewers can get involved? And especially, the viewers might be in other states. So we're the 10th state, you said.
Right.
Maybe they're in Florida. What's the next step there?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I did double check. I found that Florida does not have a state administrator for the Dementia Friends program yet. So if you're living in the state of Florida and you become a dementia friend, I would encourage you to become familiar with those local area agencies on aging. So again, SECOA, we are stationed right here in central Indiana. We work with a number of area agencies on aging across the state. But again, find out what is your local aging services. And maybe be an advocate for this movement. Explain to them, this is what I gained from this. I think this would be a great program to offer to the state. So there's lots of opportunities when it comes to Florida because the work's not being done there quite yet. But in terms for the rest of you, we always say at the end of sessions, you don't get to just check that box off and say, okay, I'm a dementia friend, my work is done here. That's when the work starts. So I just want to emphasize there's no action that is too small to advance this movement. So it could be something as simple as, you've become a dementia friend and you're going to go on Facebook and you're going to take your certificate that you got from your session, you're going to take a picture of it and you're going to explain what the session meant to you. Or maybe you are comfortable educating, public speaking. We have an opportunity called the Dementia Champion. So that is it's a train the trainer model, but we train champions, we call them, to go into the community and help us facilitate these sessions. So it's not just me traveling across the state. We actually have over 200 trained volunteers here in the state of Indiana that prior to COVID were helping deliver those sessions in their communities. So, gosh, what else can you do to get involved? Thinking about your own networks, both professionally and personally. Do you belong to a faith community? Have you introduced Dementia Friends to your faith community yet? What's really neat about this session is I think it speaks to a variety of ages. It's not just something for older adults or, just something that our older adults need to hear. We need to start talking to our kids about this condition Because quite frankly, my little sister, I mean, she was young when my grandmother was diagnosed. And I think the earlier we educate and we break that stigma down, stigma doesn't exist in that kind of world. So, there's just so many action items that you can take, and we talk more about those in the Dementia Friends sessions, but I cannot stress it enough. Just talking about it, sharing it with your networks, just liking the content, helping us share it on Facebook, that is so valuable in helping us grow this movement.
Well, I think something I learned in one of the Dementia Friends sessions is that 1 in 6 millennials is actually, providing care for someone with dementia. And just in queuing up this video, advertising that we were going to do it, I've had some of those individuals reach out to me, so you're not alone.
Yes.
And I think that can be really powerful. But in closing, Mindy mentioned Dementia Friends Indiana or the Dementia Friends Initiative. We've got their websites in the comments on this blog, or on this video. Their URLs are there, and then along with a link to our SHC blog, where there's some other great resources as well. But our phone number is below. Give us a call here at SHC, for any reason. And maybe you've got more questions about Dementia Friends or SACOA or area agencies on aging. We can help you set up a virtual or in your faith community, as she said, Dementia Friends session. I'm a dementia champion, so I can always help with that. And maybe you're interested in some care from SHC or our provider in Florida, and or maybe you're interested in becoming a caregiver. We can help. So we're here 24/7 as well at that number. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity to share anything I can to just bring awareness to this movement, not only here in the state of Indiana, but to help it grow across the country. So thank you, Michael. It's
awesome.
been great.
Thank you, guys.